For today's video, I'm going to do an updated Cap on Convoy guide. Now, Cap has gone through a lot of nerfs and buffs and tweaks here and there since the last time I did my video, so his playstyle has kind of changed a little bit and it's evolved. It's still somewhat the same, where you still want to try and stall out the convoy as much as possible, but getting in and getting out, you have to be a lot faster with now, and you can't stay as long as you used to. But in the compensation, you do have a little bit more damage at the moment, so you can actually go for a lot more kills than you used to, but it's about picking the right targets at the right time. And hopefully on this, I'm going to show you how to stall on defense, but also how to focus down the right targets. So here, I am doing Cap on offense first. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go top right and try and weed out anyone who's up here. I see the Thor is here, and instead of just passing by and focusing on jumping their backline, I'm going to force this Thor out with the help of my teammates, so that way my backline is safe. Once he gets help and I see that Hela is up here isolated, I am just going to jump on her because she's a non-mobile DPS. It's very, very easy for Cap to take a duel with someone like that. I get a quick kill, and unfortunately she gets res right afterwards, but it's okay, at least the res is down already. Now, I'm playing with Coach Mills here, and he said he could dive the backline, and I went a little too early on this engage. So unfortunately, they don't get much out of it. But as you can see, as I slam down with my left click, I am saving my shield bash in order to get out. No matter what, every time you engage, you want to have at least one of these abilities up to disengage, if not both of them at once. The shield slam doesn't even do a lot of damage, so you don't have to use it all the time if you can just drop on them and start attacking them, because sometimes it's worth just holding on to. The most of the damage you're going to get is from animation canceling anyway. So once I see that my engage was a little poorly timed, I get out to get to safety. I position myself here so I can stand behind cover and get healed up. Unfortunately, I was not used to Blade and how much damage he does, so it kind of caught me off guard. So as soon as I start to take too much damage, I rush back to my team and try to get healed up with them instead. Seeing that my team is going main, I am going to take an alternate route. Anytime you are playing Captain America, you want to play him very similar to how you play Magic, which I have a guide on positioning with melee heroes that I'll also link down below. But you always want to be trying to take separate angles away from what your tanks are taking, because this way you can kind of sneak in and quickly get an attack and a drop on someone without them noticing. Here, I see Blade sort of isolated. I know most of the time you want to dive onto the supports, but diving onto the supports isn't always the best idea when they're not at the very back. I like attacking the targets that are at the very back because nobody's usually turning around to see them to help them. They're always focused on what's happening in front of them. So this is a blind spot. So I jump on the Blade instead. And as I start to get him low, I pull the attention of Strange and Luna, and they start to help him. And then as soon as that happens and I pulled enough focus, I immediately want to get out. I get to safety, and because the convoy is still moving, then that's me doing my job correctly. My first goal is to try and get the convoy moving as much as possible. If I can secure kills, great. But if I can't, I need to be able to get out and stay alive. Here, you see me jump back, stand still, and get healed to full before re-engaging. Whenever you are playing any sort of dive hero or dive tank, your supports typically can't follow you. And if you dive in and use all of your abilities expecting to stay alive through heals, eventually you're going to die, and you're going to die a lot. As Captain America, you should have very, very few deaths. As any dive tank, you should have very few deaths, because you should be able to get in, cause chaos, pull out resources, pull attention, and then get out alive. If you don't get out alive, you've pretty much wasted your entire engage anyway. So always remember to be using your abilities in a way where you always have an escape plan. Don't rely on having constant healing, because if you do, the moment your supports have to reload or they get dove, you're going to end up dying. So always remember, make it easy on your supports, jump back, sit behind cover, stand still, and then re-engage. Here, as my team goes main, I take a side route and I'm looking to see who's at the very back. I see both supports staying on top of each other, so I decide I'm going to dive them both while my team is fighting their front line. Now, at the same time that my team is fighting their front line, the supports have a choice. They can either try and keep healing the front line, or they can defend themselves from me, and they have to defend themselves from me. Knowing I could hit Rocket or Luna, I choose Luna because it's a lot easier for Cap to kill Luna than it is to kill Rocket. So I immediately pull my focus towards her, and I use my E as an execute. The E works really good as an execute whenever characters are trying to get away or they have a mobility to get away, because a lot of times they'll get away with a little bit of health and you can shield bounce it off the ground and hit them for sure. The other time you'll see me use shield bounce is if I know that I'm not going to be able to execute anyone and I'm just waiting for my team or waiting to do something. I'll throw it in there as a chance to get up some ult charge, but those are really the two main ways you're going to use the shield bounce. Now that Luna is dead, I turn my focus to Rocket, and I see that he's low. And I knew I was going to die, but trading myself for both supports is absolutely worth it here for us to secure the point, so I didn't mind dying. I rarely ever put myself in a position where I know I'm going to die, but in a situation like that, where you know you can trade yourself for 2 supports, it's sometimes worth dying for. So here I'm going to go up, and as my team will push down main, I'm going to always try and find a flank route. I'm going to try and cause some chaos, and knowing that they have a rocket, I'm going to always be trying to look for res stations. I don't want them to ever have a res go up. I'm waiting because I can hear them walking forward. I hear Rocket put down the res station. Coach Mills told me he was going to engage, and I did not quite time it correctly with him because I wanted to get the res station first. So as he engaged, I wanted to make sure no one was brought back to life. So I got that, and I was close to my ult. And I hit it, and unfortunately I was off by like just a second to keep him alive, but sometimes that happens. I should have communicated that I was going to go look for the res station first. Here I hear the rocket ult, and I look to see who's outside the ultimate. Anytime I hear a support ultimate, I don't fight inside of that support ultimate. Either I have to break the rocket ult, or if it's a cloak and dagger or Luna, I'm going to try and look for targets that are outside the ult range and see if I can't get an execute on them instead.
This is real firepower.
Seeing the Hela isolated, I'm trying to go for her, but then she walks back into the rocket ult, and I just try to get out.
Ship shape in no time.
Seeing Hela pushed up too far here, and her tanks are literally standing right next to her. So if I have a choice between hitting her tanks or hitting her, I'm going to choose her. And because of it, she ends up paying the price for it. Whenever you are playing a DPS, you do not want to be standing in positions where your enemies can choose between shooting the tank or shooting you. Because if they have that choice, someone like me is going to see that mistake that you made and capitalize on it. Always make sure that you are positioning yourself in a way that I don't have easy access to you.
Beholds the god of thunder!
Knowing I killed the Hela, I start to target the supports at the back, thinking I can get an execute like before. Unfortunately, the knock-up actually blocked my shield bounce and stopped the execute on the Luna, and then I ended up getting knocked up by the thing ult. I didn't predict the thing ult. It used to be you could hear it and you could turn your shield down and block it. I haven't been able to do that. I wonder if they patched it out, but I have not had much luck countering thing ults as cap lately, so that was me not predicting that when I hadn't seen the thing ult in a while. I should have known that was coming.
I never stay down.
Luckily, my team is still getting some fantastic picks without me. I'm walking up because once again, as my team goes main, I try to take an alternate route. I go up and try and attack their backline, attack their squishies, so that way I can pull focus off of the person they're healing and pull focus onto me instead. Here, I stand in front of the door to try and block and reflect some of the heals, thinking maybe if I block some of the heals, they'll be able to kill whoever they're attacking behind me. I can't dive into 4 people and expect to kill anyone, but holding your shield up as a tank in order to block heals is sometimes more effective than trying to go for kills, and that's what I try to do here. Seeing Hela ult, I decide to go towards their backline because being in that room is now dangerous, too dangerous for me. I get the execute on the Luna, but unfortunately, my team lost a few people to the Hela ult. But it's okay.
All right, don't rush in.
Do I throw like a girl?
Here they come.
A nice deep freeze.
Here, I'm not trying to repeat the same thing I was doing before. If you repeat doing the same thing over and over again, eventually the enemy's going to catch on and they're just going to wait for you. So I try to go to the right here to try and bait their attention. I know that they're chasing me and I'm pulling attention that way. Here, seeing the Thor out of position, I collapse in on him. Like, yes, as a dive tank, typically you want to dive the squishies, but sometimes if a tank is out of position, the tank has to go. So always be sure to pay attention to not just who the priority targets are, but who is the easy kill at the time. Thor doesn't have as much sustainability as he used to, so I thought it would be an easy kill to collapse on, and it was. Knowing that they're down one, I'm just going to try and rush them down now. Inside the Invisible Woman ult, I know that we're safe, so I just try to burn the rocket ult. Now I can try and secure kills. I ult to help keep my team up. Here in this situation, Cap's shield actually bounces people back and pushes them. So what I was trying to do was find the invis woman and see if I couldn't push her outside of the ult to see if we could secure the kill. She was out temporarily, and unfortunately we didn't get the kill, but in theory, that's how it should work. So if you haven't tried that before, Cap Shield does push people away, so try to think creatively about how you can use that. Seeing that Bucky has resets, I focus one of the targets he attacks. Here, even though Blade has lifesteal, once again, Cap does really, really good in 1v1s against squishy targets, so I just isolated him and took him out even though he grabbed the health pack.
They look like they mean business.
That's the boost I needed.
Help my team secure the point, and we move forward. Here we see Thor, and he gets Bucky hits him with the ult. Coach Mills has another Q, and he's wanting to move forward. I'm helping him with the ult to push him up for the team ability. And he got a little silly trying to keep his ult going and ended up getting bursted for it, but it's all right. You can see me turn around sometimes and occasionally check to see what my team's location is. How far back my team is playing dictates how safe I am when I dive in. I don't want to just dive in without paying attention to what their location is, so that way I know where to get back to and what's safe. Always be paying attention and do a quick look back and a team check of like, okay, where's my team? Okay, that's where they're at. Okay, now I can move in. Here, once I'm spotted, I kind of don't like my angle, so I go take a different spot.
Can't beat battlefield medicine.
Cap is really good at self-sustaining by being able to jump around to health packs. You don't want to be too resource dependent on your team. So even though a lot of times I'll jump back to my source to help give them ult charge, a lot of times what you're going to see me do is go for health packs in order to self-sustain so that way they can focus on healing on Mag or somebody else. Here, I dive directly into their backline, and it was a bad idea. What I did wrong there was I had jumped in from the front and they all saw me do it, and I shouldn't have done that. It was a very foolish and dumb mistake that I should know better. You always want to try and attack from a different position, either from the side, up above, or from behind, so that way they don't all turn on you at once.
Behold the god of thunder! You think I'm too old for this? Sorry, soldier.
This is real firepower!
Two's better than one, I guess. I would turn around if I were you.
Here, seeing the ult, once again, there you saw me go from the side instead of directly at them. That's the kind of angle you want to take. I'm not doing anything too crazy right now. I'm waiting for my team to fully sort of regroup and come back before actually engaging.
This is a big job for a little robot, but Herbie's up to the task.
Seeing that now my team is coming back and they're all starting to attack, I'm starting to apply pressure as well. Here, learning from my previous mistake, instead of diving directly in right in front of them, I'm coming at them from the side. You can see me here saving my abilities instead of engaging with them. I don't necessarily have to use them to engage. When you're coming at someone either from the side or behind, you're in a blind spot and they won't see you until you're actually on top of them. Bucky's doing a good job at marking me. I'm just trying to apply pressure and build my ult, getting close. And now I'm using my ult in this situation to keep my teammates alive from the Hela ult. You kind of want to always be running circles around your allies in order to keep them alive, but also at the same time, Cap's ult actually stacks really, really well if you're standing still. So if you ever get caught in a Groot ult, Cap's ultimate actually does really, really well because you're forced to stand still anyway. Here, I see Rocket isolated and he was trying to find some place to hide, so I went straight for him instead. But luckily, we ended up capping the point. A lot about playing dive tank is making sure you time your engages properly. You could be being off by even a second or two could mean the difference between a won fight and a lost fight. If you engage in too soon, they're going to turn on you and they're going to kill you very quickly. And then that time your team might not have fully walked out of spawn. And when that happens, you lose a lot of value. So what you want to do is you always want to time your engages for when your front line is already attacking and then you dive in on their back line at the same time. So that way they're sort of split and their attention is split.
3, 2, 1.
Here on defense, like the old cap style was stall indefinitely, it's still sort of the same idea, but instead of trying to just stay on the point and jump around, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just try and stand on the point and just stall for time and use my mobility to get in and out and kind of keep repeating this process where I stand on it, I annoy them, I pull attention of 1, 2, or 3 people, get out, grab some health packs, loop around, do the same thing. I'm trying to encourage them to either fight me in a 1v1 where I will naturally win, or I'm trying to pull the attention of multiple people while simultaneously stalling the convoy. That will help you win a lot of convoy maps as cap, but the trick is you're not supposed to die. You need to try and prioritize living as much as possible. So here in this position, normally you would have someone watch the top left. I saw Thor go up there and I thought to myself, if I call it out, maybe it'd be enough for my team, but it was not the right play. Here I dive in because, like I said, I'm trying to distract their backline at the same time my front line is attacking them, and I didn't time it right. And as you can see, I have 5 people staring at me all at once. So even though I had abilities to get out, I still ended up dying for it. That was a mistake on my part. I didn't realize that they were running solo tank Thor, and I should have paid attention to that before I engaged so hard in on them.
You think I'm too old? Coming through.
Unfortunately, my death caused a sort of snowball reaction where we lost our Magneto at the same time. Here, I'm waiting to try and see if I can get in and just sort of stall the payload a little bit and buy my Magneto and my teammates a little bit more time. There you see me throw my shield throw where I know I'm not going to be able to engage in anytime soon. I know I'm not going to try and go for an execute, so I'm throwing my shield throw in there to try and charge some ult early.
That's the boost I need.
Attacking tanks like this doesn't really do anything. When I'm attacking him, he's attacking me. He's getting healed. I'm getting healed. All we're doing right now is we're basically charging our own ults, both for support and our tank, just because we needed to be doing something.
I like the cold. Almost there.
Seeing that now my mag is back, now I want to dive in. Anytime I'm sitting on this payload at all, even if it's just me, it's not moving anywhere. And a lot of times what you're going to see me try and do is just sort of stand on the payload and take the fight to them. So that way, even if I'm just fighting them on the payload and I'm not getting any kills, it's okay because the convoy is not moving either. That's your goal as cap, is to always get in there, get on the convoy and stall it. I dive in, I pull a bunch of tension, I pull resources, and as soon as they turn on me, I use one of my abilities to get out. And then after that, because of the fact that I pulled so much tension, so many resources, Bucky then feels the confidence to go in with his ult right afterwards.
Us against the world.
This unfortunately causes him to die because he ends up triggering a support ult, but it's actually not so bad because we ended up triggering one of their support ults early. Seeing that my supports don't have a defensive ult ready, I'm basically telling them to back up, and we're just going to stall for time and wait until one of those is up so that way we can sort of contest the point. Once again, we're prioritizing survival here, and I know that I'm waiting for one of my supports to ult, but I need to get on the point to touch it first. So now that I'm on it, now I can start choosing a high priority target to take out. Seeing that Luna is there, and I knew that the Cloak and Dagger had just used her ult, so I thought to myself, if anyone's going to ult next, it's going to be Luna, so I either want to force it early, or I want to try and kill her in case she didn't have it.
I am ready to put on a show.
Because of that, though, we end up forcing it early, which is really good because then it means that we forced one of their defensive ults, then we use one on top of it, and then we force the second one. So then realistically, once we use a defensive ult right afterwards, we'll have more basically immortality time than they will. A lot of times what you're trying to do as a DPS or as a tank is force their defensive ults at a worse time so that way you can use yours at a better time. Here in the midst of the battle, it's going to get kind of crazy, and all you're trying to do is try and find a squishy target. Seeing them all huddled up behind the pillar, I try to cut off that area of cover and try and attack them through it. Here, I know that Luna doesn't have her ult just because you just used it, so I'm going to change my focus to try and target her because the hell is in the air. Unfortunately, she lands a really good freeze. I I hop on the point and I think to myself, like the old way I used to do things was I'm going to ult on point and then I'm just going to stall it for as long as I can and get out. But because the survivability isn't as strong anymore, I don't quite sustain quite the same way as I thought I would. It probably would have been better for me to hold that ult and just use it with my team next time to try and stall than it was to try and do what I did there.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum. I've got you covered.
Here, luckily, my Psylocke has a really great pick, meaning we have an advantage, so I just want to get in there and just overpower them with numbers. Seeing their attention now get split and they're going in two different directions, I want to try and pick one of those directions and focus those targets. This makes for an easy cleanup on both Thor and on Cloak and Dagger. Here, I'm trying something cheesy because that's what I do, and I'm trying to wait and see if I can engage in on them from the backside. Seeing that they're not paying attention to me, this is really good. This is what I want. I want to try and dive in on them as they start to engage in on my team. I want to try and engage on the person at the very, very back. Once again, I jumped up thinking it was a Cloak and Dagger, and then once the Hela came out, I changed my focus to her instead. Pulled attention, pulled focus, got out, and now I'm going to re-engage again. Seeing that my team has sort of lost space with the mag dying, I am now going to try and back out of this position. I luckily get out just barely and I grab some health packs. I try to get back to my team, but I'm a little afraid to cross that gap there with how much damage they've been hitting me with all game. Luckily, they get me to full. I jump up and I go to anchor onto the point, not to try and secure any kills, but just to stop the objective until my mag can come here and take my place. Once I get low, once again, I get out. What you're trying to do is maximize how much you can accomplish with your life while also taking as little resources as possible. So once I got in there and I stalled the convoy for a little bit, I got out before I died because walking back from spawn is 30 seconds and going to grab a health pack and getting back in is like 9. So always try to prioritize your life.
Can't beat battlefield.
We lose one, unfortunately, but it's okay. I'm still going to try and stall the payload.
I am ready to start a show.
We use the support ult, and luckily for us, they accidentally double support ulted at the same time. So now, in the midst of all this, I'm basically just going to try and charge my support or my cap ult as fast as possible. Once I heard the Bucky ult my backline, I immediately turned my focus to him to try and target him because I knew that they didn't have their 2 support ults. So I want to kill him very, very quickly so that way he doesn't kill my team. Once I get kind of low, I sort of get out and grab a health pack because I wasn't quite sure if my team and I could win the fight. So I just sort of retreated knowing that I at least slowed the Bucky down on his ult. Once again, as my team is one way, I'm trying to approach from a backside or a different angle so that way they don't see me. Unfortunately, they're still paying attention to me. So I just focus on getting out alive. I ult with my team thinking that we can make a play, so I dive straight in with my ultimate to try and attack all of these juicy squishies right in front of me. Luckily, we get a nice clean kill on the Luna. And now it's just clean up from here. I saw the Cloak and Dagger back here, so I just knew it was an easy free cleanup.
We're gonna do what we have to do.
Behind you.
I'll be shipshape in no time.
Now I'm trying to find a place where I can stand, where I can engage in on them once again, trying to take an angle from the side or from the back. throwing my shield for some ult charge, and targeting the person at the very back. I dive in to try and pull as many resources as I can, knowing that Coach Mills was going to ult as magic here. And once I did that and I pulled all that attention, all those resources early, that meant it makes his job of engaging afterwards a lot easier. And once again, I get out with my life and I stand still behind cover and I can get healed.
A little help, please.
Ah, here they are now.
Now, because they're so disorganized, it's very easy to pick them off one at a time.
Armed and dangerous.
Bucky goes for a play. And luckily, as we were attacking him at the same time, Cloak decides to ult and really messes up the fact that she just didn't do it in time. So now we pulled out one of her ults really early. Way far away from the point as well. Another kill, and we're just continuously staggering them here. What's a great thing to do is to try and constantly apply that pressure of getting stagger after stagger after stagger after stagger. And then what that does is it really throws the team off and they get very frustrated and they find it very difficult to sort of reorganize and regroup. So what I'm trying to do here with the help of Coach Mills is constantly be continuing those staggers by picking off one after another. Seeing that Blade went this way, I went to attack him. I was not expecting the ult, but luckily I had mine to counter it.
That's the boost I needed.
And here we're just holding them outside their spawn. At this point, I think they've pretty much just given up. Always finding that good target prioritization in the heat of the fight there. They had someone on point, but it's okay. My team cleaned it up. And at this point, what really threw this team off was the fact that they were just constantly staggering. They were doing pretty well up until that point, but right there at the very end, the way that we kept aggressively attacking them one after another and continuously staggering them, they never really took the time to just say, hey, everyone just stop, wait and spawn, we'll go out as 6. If they would have done that, they would have had an easier time. But instead, it ended up becoming a win for us. And yeah, that's how you play Cap on Convoy as both attack and defense. You can see that his survivability is a lot lower, but you're able to get a lot more final hits by very specifically choosing the right targets at the right time. And remember, that means a lot of the times that you want to have your main tank, your anchor tank engaging first, and you attacking an isolated target second. And you also want to make sure to try and stall, especially on Convoy maps, kind of continuously cycle between standing on that objective as much as possible, but never actually trading your life for it. As Captain America, you should always have very, very low deaths. It's very easy to get in and it's very easy to get out. So I have never had a problem playing Cap and having different supports. If I'm able to just jump behind and jump behind cover, I'm able to get healed. So that being said, hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully this updated guide will lead you to some wins. But yeah, that's Cap on Convoy. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments.